Hi everybody and welcome back to the channel. Bob here. Thanks so much for stopping by. So I've got a pretty cool one for you guys today, I think. The other week, it's been a few weeks now, but I stumbled onto a Seiko model that I had never seen before. It was totally under the radar for me. And as a standalone watch, it's great, but what makes the watch interesting is its dial. Although it's a different color, the dial has pretty well the identical texturing as the Grand Seiko Peacock, but at a fraction of the price. So let's get into the watch. All right, now for me, one of the coolest things about brands like Seiko is just the sheer volume of models, both new and old, out there. Because of that, there's a lot of hidden gems in the collection that sometimes get missed. I know Seiko pricing has been changing over the last few years and they've been moving up market with a lot of their lines, but there's still some cool affordables if you do a little digging. I managed to find this on eBay for 165 Canadian dollars, which is around 120 US as of today. They're actually available on Amazon right now for under 150 US, and even at that price, it's a nice, affordable chronograph. So let's talk dial here first, and it is quite the looker. The texture plays beautifully with the light. It's kind of, I guess, a weave pattern with a dark gray metallic color. I'm still a little surprised they do a dial like this on such an affordable watch. It's very well done. I'm sure the Peacock is more refined in its dial finish, but it's cool to have this look for the cost of this watch. The dial can be a little bit distracting with that beautiful texturing, not in a bad way, totally in a good way, but I do want to cover the rest of the watch. The dial and specifically the subdials are very well proportioned. Sometimes with chronographs, the subdial sizing or spacing, or both for that matter, can be a little out of whack, but this is very well done here. I'll start the chronograph. The watch is using the 8T63, which is a mecha quartz movement. So you get that nice tactile snap of the pushers when you reset the chronograph. And I'll just stop and we'll restart. And the chronograph hands snap immediately back to their starting position with this movement versus the sweep back you usually have on a quartz chronograph. As far as the functions go, the subdial at the 3 shows the time in 24 hours or an AM PM indicator. At 6 is the running seconds, and at 9 is the minute totalizer, up to 60 minutes for the chronograph function. Also tucked between the 4 and 5 is the date. Lots of nice details here for sure. Even the handset and applied hour markers are nicely done. There's the raised chaptering as well, so lots of great little touches to look at. When it comes to case measurements, the watch comes in at a case with the 42 millimeters. The lug to lug, I'm getting 51 millimeters. Lug opening is 20 millimeters, and the thickness is 13 millimeters. The crystal is a domed hardlex, and the water resist is 100 meters. The case is finished with a combination of brushed and polished surfaces. I especially like the little polished section here on the inner portion of the lugs. Even though the lug to lug is a little bit long at 51 millimeters, the watch's side profile has that curvature that looks great, but also helps seat the watch properly on wrist. The crown and pushers are polished. It's a push-pull crown and sized right for easy operation. No problem getting a hold of this one and adjusting your time and date. The bracelet's probably the biggest weakness, but at this price, it's totally a pass. The end links are hollow. We have a typical stamped clasp you see on Seikos in this price range, but otherwise it looks good and feels totally fine on wrist. I'm thinking it's going to go great on straps too, especially a nice leather, but right out of the box as is, it definitely does the trick. And here it is on my 7 1/4 inch wrist. I'm actually very impressed, and for this price range, it's one of the better watches I've had on the channel lately. Absolutely love the dial. There's also a white version that looks excellent too. I'll try to find the model number of that one and post it in the description. This one is reference number SSB295P1. Can't recommend this watch enough. It's so good for a watch under $150. So that's it for today, guys. I really appreciate you stopping by. Be safe out there, and we'll see you real soon. Bye bye.